All right, what's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me, if you can hear me. What's up, Pierre? Good to see you, sir. What's up, Pablo? We got Bogdan in the house. Vincent, Christopher, Michael, Jeffrey, Levy. Good to see you, sir. Malcolm, turn those cameras on. We got Jessica in the house. We got Lino. Nice to see you. Wasim, Steven. You know I like to see those beautiful faces. What's up, Brian Barley? That's a pretty face. Michael Serrata, nice to see you, sir. We got a bunch of people here. And Melvin Jackson, there we go. And we got Charanjit. Nice to see you too. Great to see everybody. This is going to be short and sweet tonight, but I really wanted to come at you and tell you some things I've been hearing behind the scenes. As you know, I used to work in banking for 15 years, and we're seeing a lot of institutional buying of not only Bitcoin, but other cryptocurrencies. And everyone else is telling you and has been telling you for the past 2 months that crypto is going to stay flat or go down. And now Bitcoin has touched 25,000. And I believe actually it's going to go higher. And I want to tell you why and show you why I think that tonight. But I got to see your faces. So please turn your cameras on. And Martini, throw anybody else out who's not turning their cameras on. I got dressed up for you today. Anybody wearing a tie? Okay, let me see. Louis, you got the sleeveless shirt. I wear those on my weekends. What can I say? Martini's dressed up. But yeah, I would love to see some cameras. And I'm going to talk a little bit about a few things tonight. I'm going to talk about this concept of Bitcoin dominance. Has anybody heard that expression before? Bitcoin dominance. It's kind of the percentage of total market cap that Bitcoin makes up. It's about 43.8% right now, which is basically about $1 trillion market cap of liquid cryptos. And with Bitcoin, about 430 billion of that market cap. It's a metric to look at, and it's something to always to be focused on. Again, if you could just please type in the chat right now what crypto you own. I want to get a really good feel for what's going on here. But ciao to Lino. I see a bunch of things on here. We got some Ripple people in the house. We look like we got XRP Army here, which is great. Must have come from BitBoy Crypto. We got Ethereum, HBAR, Matic. This is nice. Looks like Christopher owns some Singularity Net, which is great. By the way, I called out Singularity Net a couple months ago when I was doing my AI calls because of our investment club, and it 10x'd after I posted that price chart. I had Dr. Ben Gertzel on our show, and I've had a lot of private calls with him in the background because we're trying to bring him on as an advisor for our AI early stage investments in our investment club. So that was a little tidbit for free. Singularity Net probably still has some action to go up. We got Engine Coin. I've had them on the show as well, which is great. Gala, obviously a bunch of people here on BTC. Near Protocol. You know, Near is no joke. A lot of the companies, Martini knows this, that we're talking to in the investment club are using Near, a lot of startups now. And so we always can see a little bit early on what's happening out there. And I'm seeing a few other coins coming in here. A lot of people diamond hands with the XRP. I love it, man. That's cool. Really good stuff here. All right, folks, I want to jump in here. Like I said, cameras on is the best way to get engaged. I'm going to answer questions at the end. And if you got your camera on, we will prioritize you. But I really want to talk about what I'm hearing behind the scenes and what we think crypto is going to do. As you know, for the past 2 years, we've been speaking to all the experts when it comes to blockchain. We just had one of our investments on yesterday in the metaverse called Orange Comet. And I had Dave Broom, their CEO, and they've done a bunch of NFT projects with Scottie Pippen of the Bulls, Sir Anthony Hopkins, brands like The Walking Dead, and they got a ton of other big announcements. They're actually in Paris today, and I'm hooking up with all of our contacts there in Paris. They're meeting with all the big luxury brands and a bunch of the big metaverse companies because this will be a multi-billion-dollar company, and we're just pushing that forward. So a lot of our investments in the cryptocurrency space are going to pop this year with token generation events, but we're still always looking at our basic layer one protocols, our metaverse plays, and of course, keeping an eye on stable coins and regulation as well. Is everybody here watching what the SEC is doing with stable coins in the state? Our good old friend, Gary Gensler. Yeah, are we big fans of Gary Gensler? Not so much, right? Yeah, it's a bit of a shame to see what he's doing there. But I actually think his days could be numbered, especially if we see an administration change. So look, I'll try to keep you up to date with everything I'm seeing and hearing there. Also, a bunch of our students inside our Crypto and DeFi Academy are very close to people in the banking world. One of the students, I actually think she knows what the Fed's going to do before the Fed does it. And so a lot of times we get some really good information as far as what's happening in the banking sector, the Fed, and a lot of regulators as well. And of course, BitBoy Crypto, we know really well, is always gunning for Gary Gensler and of course, Sam Bankman-Fried, and he's always even introducing his own legislation. So we're in a really weird nexus of a lot of different pieces of information that hopefully we can pass on to you, and you can use that to invest intelligently in crypto. I'll tell you a little bit about our investment philosophy. I'm not big into day trading. I think it's a great way to lose money. Anybody agree with me here? Day trading is the best way to lose all your cash, right? Yeah. The truth is that most of the news websites out there and most of the goofballs on Twitter, they work on fear and panic. And if you trade on that, you lose a lot of money. So we like to really take a long horizon. We believe that blockchain is the wave of the future. 10 years from now, pretty much every action of your day is going to be somehow on the blockchain. How many people agree with me on that, by the way? How many believe the blockchain is just going to be ubiquitous in everything we do? And that money on the blockchain will be ubiquitous as well, right? Melvin's like, yeah, hell yeah, Brian, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I agree, and Mick does as well. It just will be. And look, I was there for the dot-com boom. I was the CFO of a dot-com company called luxuryfinder.com. I was in New York City in 1999 to 2002. And I saw the internet boom. I saw the NASDAQ go to the moon, and I saw it crash. And a lot of people lost money in speculative dot-com stocks, but the internet didn't stop growing. Just the market value came off, but everybody kept building, and Amazon was built, and Facebook was built, and Google was built. And so don't get it twisted, okay? Just because the total market cap of crypto goes from 2 trillion to 1 trillion doesn't mean that blockchain isn't being adopted by everybody and their mother, right? Is everybody with me here? It's such an important thing. Don't confuse price with adoption, okay? That's one thing, you cannot put this genie back in the bottle. Just like AI, just like mobile technology, just like the internet, the blockchain is here to, and the metaverse, it's all here to stay, and it's all going to become our lives in the future. Look at what we're doing right now. This is a metaverse that we're in right now, okay? This is going to be a part of what we do in the future. And so once we accept that and we take a long enough trading horizon, then the money is just there waiting to be made. And you will create generational wealth if you're in this space, period, in the next 5 to 7 years, period. So again, but fortune favors the brave. And if you panic in this market, then you're going to lose. And just like we know, when your grandma's buying crypto, when Bitcoin goes to 68,000, that's the wrong time to buy. And when everybody is telling you that Bitcoin's going to zero, we know it's the wrong time to sell. Is everybody with me here? Right? We all know that. This is an interesting accumulation phase, and we love it. It's also why we're investing in early stage companies as well in our investment club. So let me share with what's going on today. Again, cameras on. I want to see pretty faces, but I just created this presentation. It's hot off the presses. Can everybody see this? Just thumbs up if you can see me. And by the way, this is an AI generated image of me. I can look this good depending if I have a good hair day. Martini can tell you. But this is AI generated. We like to embrace that stuff. We are going big into AI in our investments right now behind the scenes. And of course, we're big fans of Ben Gertzel. And we had him on with Singularity Net many years ago on the show, and just recently on. So I want to talk about, it's $50,000 Bitcoin next. I believe it is, but we're going to hit 50,000 before we hit 15,000 again. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the halving and institutional adoption tonight. All right, sound good for everybody here? I want to talk about that. Before we get started, I want to talk about my investment philosophy. And I always go back to Sun Tzu, who wrote this book called The Art of War. He was a Chinese general. And he said, every battle is won before it's ever fought. Now, how many people have heard that quote before? Right? You might have heard that quote, right? You heard Gordon Gekko in the movie Wall Street quote, and maybe you heard me quote it. But if you actually really thought about it, what does it mean? Well, to me, it means that we don't throw darts at a board. We don't roll the dice. We don't go into situations where we don't know what the outcome's going to be. I don't like that. I like going into a battle knowing I'm going to win. And that's the way I treat my investment. And that's the way you should look at the markets. You shouldn't buy some crypto because it sounds cool and you hope it goes up. You should know what's going to happen. And that's the way I look at everything I do. I like to really know what's going to happen before the battle is fought, because that's why it's won. And so that's why I like to do. I like to prepare and over prepare. And so when I look at these markets and I talk to you about what we're doing today, this is my philosophy. And that's the way I think you should always invest in crypto and blockchain and anything that you do. And that's why we are long-term investors. We're intelligent investors. We're also, we also believe in intelligent portfolio allocation. So don't put 50% of your net worth in crypto. Put 10% of your net worth in crypto. Maybe 20% if you're feeling really frisky, but that's it. Is everybody with me here? All right. Don't trade frequently. I like to trade very infrequently, and I like to have a long horizon. So that's why I'm thinking here, just so you know. I'm not coming out. You don't see me putting videos out talking about this coin is hot this day and this coin is hot this day. I don't believe in that. I interview the CEOs and the billionaires that are building the infrastructure behind the scenes, and I listen to them, but I'm not in and out. I'm not pumping and dumping. So that's what I do. I believe in creating generational wealth. That's why I'm here. And one of the reasons I do that is because I've been mentored by some of the greats. I've been mentored by men and women who know how to create wealth. You've probably seen some of these people like Grant Cardone, who's generated $4 billion in real estate assets. This is a guy who in 2008 was nearly broke, was really, really struggling. And he realized, look, I'm here to invest in assets, right? He wants assets. He doesn't want to put money in the stock market. He doesn't trust Wall Street. He doesn't believe you should put money in a 401k plan, and doesn't believe you should own your own house because it's not a cash flowing asset. So I agree with him. And that's why we believe in owning cash flowing assets. And many of those are actually located on the blockchain. Another person is Robert Kiyosaki. Everybody know Robert Kiyosaki is the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, an incredible book that teaches you how to generate wealth. He has a great phrase. He says, poor people work for money. Rich people make money work for them. Robert owns real estate. Robert owns gold. Robert owns silver. Guess what else Robert owns? Anyone know what I'm going to say? He owns Bitcoin and he owns Ethereum. Pretty interesting, right? 78 years old. He's no dummy, Robert. Okay. What doesn't he own? He doesn't own stocks in the stock market. He doesn't own whole dollars, and he doesn't own anything else that Wall Street tries to sell you. That's what's smart. Who else? Jim Rickards, one of the smartest guys I've ever talked to when it comes to money. Again, he believes in real assets. That's what Jim likes. He doesn't like the stock market. He doesn't like dollars. He believes in real assets. And he's taught me a lot about how to invest in those things. He also says, don't believe everything you read in the newspapers or on the news. Most of it's nonsense. Most of it's generated to get you to make a reaction that's based on someone else's agenda. How many people believe that here? Yeah, we've seen that over the last couple of years. So be careful. We're in an information war. Be careful where you get your information from. And of course, it's Dan Pena, the $1 trillion man, who's taught me much about how to generate wealth. He's created over $1 trillion in net worth. He actually believes in the blockchain. He's told me personally, he thinks the blockchain is here to stay. I'm trying to get him to say that on camera, but that's what he does believe, because he's smart. Dan was in the banking industry for a long time, so he understands markets. He understands disruption of markets as well. So that's where my basis comes from, and that's where I'm going to give you this information tonight. So is $50,000 Bitcoin next? Yes, I believe it is. I want to talk about three things here tonight. First of all, I want to talk about the Bitcoin halving, because a few people are talking about it, but not enough people are talking about it. And why does it push markets higher? I want to have this discussion, because I had this discussion back in 2019 with Tika Tawari when he talked about the Bitcoin halving. And of course, he was right. Then it went pushed higher. I mean, we've been predicting the acceleration of crypto prices here on London Real for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Don't forget, 9 years ago, I had Max Kaiser on here talking about Bitcoin when it was at $100. So we've been ahead of the curve on this stuff. So it's worth listening to us on this. Again, why will the 2024 halving force markets higher in 2023? A lot of people don't know this. The halving doesn't happen until May 24, but it's going to push markets higher in the next few months, because it always leads and lags, and that's important. And of course, lastly, is how institutional buying is going to supercharge the crypto markets. I'll tell you what I'm hearing behind the scenes. So first of all, what is the halving? First of all, put your hands up if you know what the halving is. There's some OGs in here, you probably do. There's a few. Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about it. So Bitcoin halving is something Satoshi Nakamoto baked into the Bitcoin protocol back when he wrote that white paper back in 08 or 09. If you've taken my Crypto and DeFi Academy course, my accelerator for 4 weeks, you would have read the Bitcoin white paper. That's what I do with my students. We go back to the basics. I don't think anybody is too silly or stupid enough to read a white paper that's 8 pages long. Okay, you might not understand some of the differential equations, but you'll at least get the gist of it. And the Bitcoin halving refers to this. It's a feature inside the Bitcoin supply distribution, which basically says for every 210,000 blocks, which is roughly about 4 years' time, the reward for mining a block gets cut in half. That's what it means. So that influences the macro factors of Bitcoin. Basically, the supply is what it factors in. It cuts supply. Now, how many people here took economics in college or high school or know some basic economic theory? Okay, hands went up there. Jeffrey, tell me, what happens when demand stays the same and supply gets cut in half? What happens to price? Does it go up or down? Show me some fingers. It goes up, right? It goes up. And it's really simple that way. It happens with pretty much any market in the world at any time. You know, especially if you can't buy especially if the good is what they call inelastic, which means you can't buy something else. Now, raise your hands if you would say that Bitcoin is probably very unique in its asset class, right? Is there anything like Bitcoin out there? There just isn't. You can't say, well, Bitcoin's expensive today, so I'm going to go buy Ethereum. Look, Ethereum's a great asset. It's one of the 2 blue chip cryptos out there. We love it as an asset. But let's be honest, Bitcoin is what they call a digital asset play. It's digital gold. Ethereum is a digital technology play. It's a smart contract play. If you want to bet on the ecosystem, you bet on that. But they're very, very different. There is no substitute for Bitcoin, which means when its supply gets cut in half, its price is going up. It's going up. Not to mention the demand is going up. There's a fixed supply. Has anyone ever seen Michael Saylor, who's been on my show twice? He wears a t-shirt that says 21 million on the front of it. Has anyone ever seen that shirt? Anyone knows what that refers to? Type it in the chat if you know what that means, 21 million. I'll give you a second to reply. All right, what does that mean, 21 million? And why does he have it on his t-shirt, for God's sakes? He's worth billions. You think he could wear a suit like me, but he doesn't, right? I love Michael, by the way. The reason he has that is because that's the fixed supply of Bitcoin. There will be no more Bitcoin than that ever made, 21 million. All right, that's a big deal. Whereas dollars, they're printing them left and right. When you're sleeping, they're printing them. When you go to the bathroom, they're printing them, right? When you're snacking, they're printing dollars. And they're going to keep printing them until they blow it all up, just like the Romans did, just like the Germans did. It always happens with any fiat currency system. Not going to happen with Bitcoin. It's the first asset class we've ever seen that doesn't happen. It can't be altered by humans. So historically, we've seen significant changes in price action up to and following each halving of Bitcoin. Is everybody with me here so far? Okay, stay with me because I want to show you something here. These are the price action charts up before, during, and after the last couple halvings. All right, so you can see in 12 and in 16 and in 20. I had Teak on in 19 as we talked about this, as this price was starting to go up. Of course, it blew through all expectations. Now, what can you see here? You can see that the price starts to rally before, and then it continues after the halving. I think it usually continues between 300 and 700 days after the halving, the rally continues, and each one is slightly different. I've got charts for that as well. But you can really see what happens. There's this parabolic advance where the price rallies right through that halving, and it continues to go. Now, what does that mean? It means that as we're speaking right now, we believe this latest rally is because of the halving and will continue right through the halving in May 2024. So it's important to be aware of that. Now, look, everyone else is telling you inflation's up, the Fed's going to move, the Nasdaq's going to crash, real estate's doing this. Hell, my guests are going to tell you that. But I'm here to tell you that anyone who tries to convince you they know what the price of Bitcoin is going to be tomorrow is lying to you. Raise your hands if you know what I'm talking about, okay? They could have the fancy degrees and the PhDs, hell, they could wear suits as good as mine. But I've seen them all. I've been there. I've done that. I worked in the financial markets at the top level of international financial markets for 15 years in complex derivative markets. I've worked in London. I've worked in New York City and Wall Street. I've worked in Chicago. Nobody knows what the price is going to be tomorrow. And everyone has consistently been wrong for the last 6 months. Who told you that gas prices and natural gas was going to skyrocket this winter? Who told you that? Everybody did on Wall Street. Did it happen? Nope. Who told you Bitcoin was going to stay in a range and not break through 20,000? Everybody said that, right? They've all been wrong, and they'll continue to be wrong. So don't listen to the experts. You know, when everybody thinks something's going to happen, what usually happens? Anyone want to guess? The opposite happens. Remember Bitcoin back in 21, right? It was going to go to 100,000 by Christmas. Anybody here thought it was going to happen? I thought it had a good chance of happening, right? I had the 10-year anniversary of London Real. Bitcoin hit 69,000 that day, right? October 21. We're like, it's going there. And everybody was positioned. Everybody was long. Everybody was leveraged as well. And it didn't take much of a sell-off to crush everybody. So I'm here to tell you, don't listen to those experts. Start looking at these fundamentals because this could be an incredible time to accumulate. I want to play for you a video of my friend BitBoy Crypto. How many people know Ben Armstrong? He's there on the right. This is me with BitBoy in Dubai at the largest technology conference in the world. 50,000 people came to GITEX. And I was on stage 3 days in a row at the Future Blockchain Summit. In the middle is Carl the Moon. Anybody know Carl? We like Carl as well. Carl is all in on crypto. He holds all his assets in crypto. Hasn't changed that when the price goes up, when it goes down. A big fan of Carl as well. Let me play you a quick short video from BitBoy talking about his thoughts on the halving. BitBoy has always reminded me of the halving every time he's on. He's like, Brian, you got to think about the halving. I always talk about the halving. People sleep on the halving. He's like, this always happens and everyone sleeps on the halving. He goes on and on and on about it. He goes on so much, I'm tired of him talking about the halving, but he's right. So here's him talking about it briefly.
Bitcoin drives the entire crypto market. You have to understand the Bitcoin cycle and the general movements that it generates. It really guides all of our investing. And even if this totally changes, the fact is the halving event is still going to occur and it will still have an effect on the markets. The center of these cycles are the Bitcoin halvings. They have the number of block rewards. What this does is this cuts the production of Bitcoin in half. This still is going to happen every approximately 4 years or exactly 210,000 blocks. And you really start understanding the compound effect of this halving and the cut in production. This is not going to change. This creates buying pressure at different points and selling pressure at different points.
There's BitBoy. We like BitBoy, right? Of course, in his meantime, he took down Sam Bankman-Fried as well. By the way, I was on stage with him in October at this conference, right? The FTX booth. I mean, I could have spit and hit the FTX booth, and he's on stage going off on Sam Bankman-Fried. He's a crook. You're all going to see the stuff they're doing behind the scenes. He's trying to block my bill in Congress. All is going to happen. And I was on stage with him, and you know what? You know me. I mean, like, I have a show here. I let people talk, and I was like, man, this guy was going on fire. And I was like, all right, speak the truth. And he was going crazy. Literally weeks later, it all just starts falling apart. BitBoy had been talking to me about this for months and months and months, and he was right about pretty much everything. So just want to say credit where credit's due. We've got it all on the record of him calling that stuff out. So let me just get back to a couple points here because I want to just keep this moving super fast. And then, of course, I got to have questions at the end. If you got any questions in the meantime, stick them in the chat and I'll see if I can hit them for you. So again, that's the halving. Be aware of it. It's going to be something everyone's going to be talking about, but they'll be talking about it too late. So why is that going to force markets higher in 2023? This is important. Now, Cointelegraph recently had a conversation with a guy named Charles Edwards, who's been in this space for quite a bit of time. And they were saying that Bitcoin is now in a new regime or a bull cycle. And Charles said there's a very good chance this is the start of a new regime. It's the early stages of a Bitcoin bull market. All right. We have all the signs of a typical turning point in sentiment. This is something you really want to think about because, again, the news media is going to give you a completely contrarian view of what's happening. Why? They love to get your attention. The only way to get your attention is to sell fear. So they're constantly going to be throwing things out. Gary Gensler is going after Paxos. Gary Gensler is throwing out Binance. Gary Gensler is going after Circle next. Okay, Jeremy Allaire of Circle just posted something today saying that, you know, stablecoins should not be regulated by the SEC, should be regulated by the FIDC, which is the banking regulator, FDIC, which is the banking regulator. I've had Jeremy Allaire on the show. USDC is one of the most stable and one of the most accounted for stablecoins. If Gary goes after them, it's just going to be a whole lot of nonsense. But that FUD is going into this market. Don't let it distract you. Because what we're seeing here are a lot of fundamentals that is pointing this is going to go higher. And I'm going to share with you what the institutions are doing next. Institutional buying is what is lately supercharging the crypto markets. We saw $1.8 billion be converted from stable coins, USDC in particular, into Bitcoin over the last 10 days. All right, that's 85% of buying being the result of American institutional players. Okay, this is big. We have not seen this before. Matter of fact, we would have expected the opposite. When this is happening, JP Morgan's putting a survey out saying, oh, we don't recommend Bitcoin. We don't think it's the right thing. Our institutions aren't interested. Does anyone believe that? Put your hands up if you believe anything JP Morgan's saying. No, we're constantly getting mixed messages. All right. The truth is this, banks are not giving up on crypto. And despite regulatory threats, pending CBDCs from all over the world, and stablecoin scrutiny, this is not stopping. Now, let me tell you a little bit of a story about what happens on Wall Street, okay? I worked for a company called Bankers Trust in 1993 when I got out of college from MIT. I was a derivatives trader. They were later acquired by Deutsche Bank. We were a massive player, right up there with Goldman Sachs and a couple other massive players when it came to derivatives. I sat next to some of the greatest salesmen in the world who covered all the institutions. Actually, they were the institutional sales desk was surrounding me. I was on the 33rd floor, right across the street from the World Trade Center before it came down. It was called One Liberty Plaza. They had to take our building down afterwards, by the way. And I sat next to these guys. And one thing I learned is this. If your clients are asking for Bitcoin and you don't give it to them, do you know what your clients are going to do? They're going to go find someone that will sell them Bitcoin. And trust me, there's one thing that people care about on Wall Street more than regulation, more than the Fed, more than Gary Gensler. Anybody want to guess what that is? What do they care about more than anything on Wall Street? Those big fat bonuses they get at the end of the year, okay? And that's what it's like. In December, no work gets done on Wall Street. Do you know why? Because everybody's jockeying for the goddamn bonus, right? Everyone's stabbing each other in the back on the trading floor. You got to walk around with your back against the wall because everyone's selling each other out, talking about how they better get a big bonus this year or they're going to leave and go across the street to Goldman or go across the street to JP Morgan. It's madness. That's all everybody cares about. And there's threats and there's veiled threats and everyone's managing expectations. And it's crazy to watch. It would be funny if it wasn't your own bonus. And the truth is this, is that that's what people care about. And so they will find some way of getting you Bitcoin exposure for your institution if that's what you want. Because the truth is somebody will get that exposure. And so don't believe what you're hearing when it comes to the regulators, even when it comes to Gary Gensler of the SEC. Also, you can see Gary is not going after Bitcoin. Did everybody see that? He's leaving Bitcoin alone. And one thing we'll definitely see from the regulators is before they go in and clamp down on the institutions that own these, they will make sure it's okay before they do. All right, this is a very tight-knit fraternity of people, and they're not going to kill their own goose when it comes to this. So for me, this is a massive, massive sign that this asset's being acquired. And again, with Gary not going after Bitcoin and institutions wanting it and 401k plans allowing it, there's going to be a massive demand for Bitcoin over the next 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. It's got a fixed supply. The halving is going to lower that supply again. And Bitcoin drives the rest of the market. Now, look, we work in crypto and DeFi. I teach DeFi. We own Ethereum. We own all the layer ones. We speak to all of those people. We believe in that going forward. But everybody in decentralized finance owns Bitcoin, and they all understand that Bitcoin drives the market. Is everybody with me here? Bitcoin drives this market. Bitcoin dominance right now is 43% of the market. When Bitcoin goes up, everything follows it. When Bitcoin goes down, everything crashes even worse. That's the way it has been, and that's the way it's always going to be. When we see these kind of buying signs, when still the NASDAQ is going down, for me, this is an overtly bullish sign for this entire market. Now, there will be ups and downs, but again, I'm very surprised you see $1.8 billion of institutional buying in January of this year. With all of the FUD and all of the bad news on the horizon, this for me is just a massive sign that we all need to wake up and just smell the coffee. So that's what I'm seeing, and that's what I'm hearing from my people. And of course, we saw this article recently with Cointelegraph, 85% of Bitcoin buying coming from institutions by Matrix Port. That's a big, big, big statement. And of course, even the New York Times, for God's sakes, one of the most lagging indicators ever, is talking about the rally as it happened, even as regulators crack down. So you got Gary Gensler rattling his sword over here, trying to threaten people. But in the meantime, you cannot regulate Bitcoin. China tried. You can try, but you can't, because if people want the exposure, they're going to go ahead and get it. And of course, the conclusion is when Bitcoin rallies, everything rallies. That's what we see. And so you want to just remember this. It's the driving force of the market. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the happening, and keep an eye on the rhetoric that's probably going to tell you the opposite of what's happening. And that's what we want to look at. And that's what we're teaching every single day in the Crypto and DeFi Academy. Now, we've run our course here and continue to educate people every single month for the past 2 years, because we know this is coming and all of our students are positioning themselves for the future. The problem with crypto is if you're not educated on this, you're not going to be able to take advantage of these things when it happens. And so that's why we're constantly trying to bring people up the curve. So what I would say to you is there's 3 things you need to do, and I want to show you how to do it. You need to build your future in this space. If you're on this call right now, you agree with me. 10 years from now, people will laugh at how they couldn't have seen this coming. Like they'll be, people will not even realize, just like your mobile phone and the internet is part of pretty much every minute of your life, so will the blockchain, and so will some type of cryptocurrency. So there's 3 things to do always because of that. Education. You can always educate yourself more and invest in yourself more. You can learn more about crypto, DeFi, the metaverse, NFTs, and gaming. You can always be climbing that learning curve, and that's what we're doing here. The more you know, the better you're going to be prepared to act in the future. So that means understanding all those layer 1 solutions, understanding the AI plays inside blockchain, understands what's going on with Polygon and layer 2 chains, understand the metaverse, understand what's going on with dynamic NFTs and the future of these NFTs, and understand how gaming is the thing that's probably going to drive the next 50 million users that are going to be adopted in this space. Next is influence. Your influence is what can potentially make you billions, tens of millions, or hundreds of millions of dollars in this space. We know this because Martini and I work with 100 different of our influencers now in our Kings of DeFi program who are building their influence, building their channels, building their podcasts, or just advising on the side. It's not a surprising thing when one of them gets offered $100,000 in tokens just to advise on a company. Your influence is crucial. Now, look, you don't have to have a YouTube channel like me and put on a suit and be on camera every day, but your influence will determine how much money you can make in this market. Has anyone ever heard that expression, your network is your net worth? Anyone ever heard that expression, right? You can be building that right now. Matter of fact, building your network in the bear market is easier because when the bull market comes back, everybody and their mother and every young punk kid out there is a crypto influencer, right? It's funny how they all left in the last 6 months. That's great. So that means you want to publish, you want to reach out, you want to teach, and you want to broadcast, build your influence. The third thing you want to do is you want to get in on these early stage investments. You want to advise them, you want to invest, and you want to promote. This is what we're doing behind the scenes. I got a call in about 30 minutes time with what I think is going to be our next investment inside the investment club. It's a really exciting protocol that's basically going to be the Shopify of Web3. They have massive deals right now with major companies, and we're going through the data room, and we're probably going to invest $500,000 or $1 million in this company. I just had Orange Comet on the show yesterday, which will soon be a multi-billion-dollar company. We've just invested about $500,000 in them. They're doing massive, dynamic, metaverse, digital, physical NFT projects with people like Scottie Pippen of the Chicago Bulls, Sir Anthony Hopkins, brands like The Walking Dead, and a bunch of others I can't even mention here that he told me off camera. Massive Hollywood movie franchises. They're in Paris today. I just talked to Dave on the phone literally 2 hours ago. They're meeting with major luxury brands. He's like, I spent 15 minutes in their office and they're like, we've never seen anything like this from anybody in the market. You guys are light years ahead of everything. We want to do business with you. So this is what we're doing behind the scenes. And you won't hear about this until the IPO and Martini's rolling up in her Lambo. That's when you guys will hear about this, okay? But this is what we're doing behind the scenes. We've already bought early stage equity. They'll be IPOing probably early next year. So this is what we're doing. This is what you need to be doing here. And look, if you go out there and buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's okay. But buying coins on liquid exchanges and watching the price of them every single day, does anybody find that boring? Put your hands up. Does anyone find that soul destroying? I'm telling you, there's smarter people out there to day trade liquid cryptos. Don't get me wrong. Everybody inside our Crypto and DeFi Academy and everybody inside our Kings of DeFi and our investment club, we all have core positions in Ethereum and Bitcoin. Martini does as well. And a few other L1s and some metaverses. That's nothing wrong with that. But that's not going to get you 100x, 200x, 300x returns, which is what we're looking for in the investment club. To do that, you have to be involved in early stage companies and you have to have some influence. Otherwise, you're never going to see those deals. That's where the real juice is, folks. So I'm here to tell you tonight, you know, Bitcoin is great to know where it's going to go, but it's only so we can position ourselves for the real money. Is Bitcoin going to go up 100x in the next 5 or 10 years? Raise your hand if you think it will. 100x, okay? Maybe. So it's going to go to $2.5 million in 5 years? It's not. It's just not. I love Bitcoin, but it's not. But our investments are. So it doesn't mean you shouldn't have some in your portfolio. It's great. Okay, cool. I think it will go up. I think it will go up. You know, I think it'll be at 100,000 in probably the next year and a half, 2 years. I think it'll slowly progress. But there's bigger money to be made out there, is what I'm trying to tell you. So that's why we want to educate you right now. And that's why you see me traveling the world. You know, this is me in Dubai 4 months ago at the biggest technology conference. I was speaking on stage. I'm meeting with everybody under the sun. People like BitBoy Crypto, Carl the Moon, massive influencers and people in our portfolio company in the upper right, like Swissborg, hanging out with major VCs like Cypher Capital in the bottom right with their cool dollar bill art. I'm hanging out with one of the top people in digital Dubai and the government of Dubai, Dr. Marwan Al-Zaruni there in the middle with me, who's been on the show, and some other people who don't want to be named, massive, massive investors. That's why I'm out here trying to find those early stage deals and finding out what's going on behind the scenes. Of course, I was doing this in Paris last year at the Blockchain Summit. I'll be back there next month. If anybody wants to join me, I'll be there March 22nd and 23rd and doing all sorts of media on the back of it. And of course, I was in London at Token 2049, hanging out with the most influential alpacas in the business. The alpaca on the left owns $500 million in Bitcoin. True story. Just joking. And on the middle right there, that's Sammy Schlagu of Cross the Ages. We've invested with them back in 2021. Their game is absolutely crushing it. They're considered one of the hottest metaverse plays in the world right now. And the upper left-hand corner is me and Yatsu of Animoca Brands. Pretty much the most important guy in the metaverse in the world. And he was on London Real. So this is what we're doing behind the scenes to make sure that we're positioned to get you the best information and to make all of my students as much money as possible. Again, we're here for 10 years. We're not in a rush. I'm not in a rush. And I'm not here to buy the Lambo. I'm here to create generational wealth for me and my students. That's what we want to do. And all the people that are with us. We have a long view. We have a London Real view. We like to, every battle is won before it's fought. That's how we like to do it. So we're preparing right now for these battles. And that means you got to invest in yourself right now. That means that weeks and months you have to invest. You can't just buy some coin next year and try to make $10 million. It's not going to work. You have to work right now. Does everyone know what I'm talking about that? You have to really invest in yourself today, and it's the best investment. Investing in yourself is a better investment than any of this stuff, by the way. So just want to say a couple other thoughts here, and then I want to answer some questions. Remember, you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Has anyone ever heard that concept before? You're the average of the 5 people you surround. Let me ask you all to do me a favor right now. Take out your phone. Will you take out your phone right now? And open up your text messages. Just do me a favor here. I'm going to do mine right here. Okay, there's mine right here. Okay, here's mine. Look through those top 10 people. Look at those 10 people. Let's do 10 instead of 5. Look at these people. Are any of the people that you've texted you in the last 10 text messages, are any of these people, would you call them high performance people? Are they working on building $1 billion protocol? Are they doing TED Talks? Are they on stage at conferences? Are they building the next big thing? Do you have any, but do you have one, do you have 2 of those people in your text messages? 3? I think Pena didn't text me, but I actually got a few billionaires in my text right now. A few people doing some protocols, but that took work. It took me 10 years to get there. Most of us don't surround ourselves with high performance people. That's the problem. Most of us just don't surround ourselves with the best because that's difficult to do. The only way to be the best is to surround yourself by the best. And your friends and family, most of them just don't qualify. They want the best for you, but your friends and family, when you start being successful, it makes them uncomfortable. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I mean, right? How many of your friends and family ever said, oh, maybe you shouldn't get into crypto. Maybe you shouldn't buy that online course. Maybe you shouldn't go to that conference. Maybe take it easy. Don't work so hard, right? Don't have such big dreams. You might be disappointed. Anybody know what I'm talking about here? Yeah, I can't stand that stuff. I get rid of those people. You need to get them out of your life and get high performance people in your life, right? Now, my daughter, Gabby, she's in Boston right now because I wanted her to be surrounded by high performance people. I went to school at MIT. That's me. I stopped by MIT because I wanted to be surrounded by high performance people. Let's be honest, it's not comfortable being surrounded by high performance people. They make you feel bad. They make you feel lazy because you are being lazy, right? They don't hang out at the pub watching football games, right? They don't do that. They're working. But if you're with these people, they'll take you to the next level. And that's why I suggested to my daughter, she go to school in Boston in America to be surrounded by high performance people, and she's blown away. Her expectations just went from here to 10x. She's been there a month. It's crazy what she's saying. She's like, I'm going to get an intern at this massive corporation. I was like, you were going to work at the public library a couple of months ago when you were here, right? Does everyone know what I'm talking about? It's all about your peer group. You start hanging out with those people, your expectations go up. And that's why we have people like that in our crypto and DeFi academy. This is Marianne, who worked for 35 years in top levels of Wall Street. She was like the chief information officer at Merrill Lynch, Bank of America. She's in our investment club. She just put money in Orange Comet. She wrote the biggest check, actually, didn't she, Martin? She did. Marianne, when she saw Orange Comet, she's like, I'm in. She wrote a big fat check before anybody. She knew it's hot. She knew it's hot or it's not. She's one of our great people. She knows what the Fed's going to do before the Fed does. She keeps us in touch with interest rates, inflation numbers, and this is just one of the peers inside that we have inside our investment group. We've also got Andrew Haynes. This is our metaverse expert. He owns over 700 NFTs. This is his mansion in the Sandbox and his NFT gallery. He also goes to one of the best executive training schools in Switzerland and hangs out with all the Fortune 100 company CEOs and CFOs. He's constantly keeping us in touch with the updates in the metaverse. This is the guy we hang out with. He'll jump on a Zoom call with anybody in the academy and walk them through anything they need. They're all buying digital land together as well as we speak. And of course, I've got Dr. Encore, who I've got a call with shortly with this next company. And he's just done he did 365 vlogs in a day in a row on YouTube, created a massive channel, hundreds of thousands of views. Like I said, he gets offered, 6-figure tokens on a regular basis just to be advisor on companies, and he turns it down. So these are the kind of people you need to be hanging out with if you want to be in crypto. How many people want to hang out with these people, right? You do, if you want to make it in this space. We've got 100 of these people inside our academy. We meet regularly, every single week, sometimes twice a week. They're all there, they're all ready. They're all here for the future in this 10-year vision. So again, in order to be successful and invest long-term in crypto, you need 3 things. You need education, mentorship, and community. That's what we do. Martini and I, we've been doing this for 8 years. We've been teaching on Zoom for 8 years. Our academy's been going for 8 years, graduated over 5,000 students in like over 100 countries from around the world. We know how to do this, all right? We know education, I know mentorship, we build great communities. And so that's what we teach, Our crypto and DeFi accelerator is a 4-week boot camp that gets you from 0 to hero and understanding all of these concepts in those 4 weeks. We bring you up to speed and get you ready to create that generational wealth. It's absolutely incredible. We're opening this thing up in about 7 days' time. It's 4 weeks, 4 modules. It's invitation only, and it's your chance to be part of the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. About 20% of our graduates go on to our further programs and then go into our investment club and are now literally on the cutting edge, and they'll be making massive returns over the next 6, 12, 18 months. This is me teaching. I teach live every single week. I do everything live. Everything is live because that's the way I can interact with you. I can tell you everything I'm hearing in real time. I have some of the greatest guests on the show, but I've got the rest of them on WhatsApp groups. I'm introducing these guys in Orange Comet to everybody I know in Paris right now at this conference. It's crazy. I see them on Twitter, and like literally 20 minutes later, they're hanging out with Dave. So like we're connecting people all the time. And that way I can give you the best and latest information all the time. Our course is 8 hours of live calls with me. It's personal coaching. It's access to my e-learning platform where I've got 10, 12, 20 hours of videos, all of my modules, all of those recorded calls. We've got a triple tiered accountability system that gets you to show up every single time. You have to record videos. You have to do the assignments. We've got dedicated coaches, team leaders, community managers, and of course, Martini's there, making sure you don't mess around and you show up to the classes and do your work. We don't believe in doing this at your own time. You have to do it with the class, with the schedule. That's how we have been so successful. Over 90% of our students graduate. That's like most programs is 2% because most people just don't stop showing up. We have a private group for posting assignments, etc. If you're on this call right now, we're actually pre-approving you because we only invited people that we've seen on our mailing list that have interacted with our content. So at londonville.tv/buy right now, you can join me in the next course. We start, I think, in 1 week's time. And it looks like this. Week 1, we go through the entire history of crypto. You literally read the Bitcoin white paper. You understand what Vitalik was thinking when he created Ethereum and the smart contract. We go into the DeFi summer of 2020. We talk about ICO boom and bust because it's important to today. We talk about the liquidity mining, Ethereum 2.0, everything. Then we go right into and get in the arena. You set up hot wallets, cold wallets. You buy stable coins. You buy altcoins. You get involved in centralized exchanges. You execute a decentralized exchange swap on your second week. Martini sees them do it. Everyone's holding on their nails, but they do it. And they're like, wow, Brian, I've never, ever thought I could do this. And they do it. And their advanced knowledge, they learn so fast because we're all there doing it together. Third week, we get heavier into DEXs. You do yield farming. I get you to do liquidity pools, and you buy your first call option on crypto. You're trading options in week 3. Why? Because I used to be a derivatives trader, and options are not bad. Options are a way of leveraging the market. Not everybody should be buying and selling options, but maybe you do. About 20% of our students magnify their portfolio gains with options. And I get you to buy a call option. How many people here have ever bought options on crypto? But some of you are crypto OGs, right? Why not? Because you're terrified, because it's uncomfortable. It's weird. It's hard. I get you to pay $50 for an option. Try it for 5 days. Watch it, see it. The only way to learn something is to do it. It's all about action, action, action. I don't believe in theory. I don't believe in reading books. I don't believe in listening to podcasts. That's no way to learn. Action, that's how you learn. So that's what we do. And it's incredible to see what people learn. And now they finally understand there's optionality in everything you do in your life. Wall Street screws retail investors with options. You're constantly selling options to Wall Street. You don't even know it. That's what we do. And in week 4, we go and we show you how to profit by trading crypto and DeFi and position your portfolio for the future. I have something I call my first system. I've got a 10-coin rule. I've got a 30-day watch list. I've got stop loss orders. We do everything by the book, the way I was trained on Wall Street. Nobody can teach this module but me. Most of the people teaching people how to trade crypto have never traded in their life. I started trading in 1993, right? I was taught by grizzled OGs on Wall Street. I mean, literally, men and women with they had scars on their face because they had made it through every single crisis and they were still standing. They taught me how to minimize losses. They taught me how to ride my gains. They taught me how to stop, to cite signs. They taught me how to ignore certain news, listen to other news. And that was really, really valuable. They also used to break phones and yell at me and cut my ties off. But, those were the good old days. And so that's what we're doing. This is your chance to join our Crypto and DeFi Academy. And because you came tonight, I decided to pre-approve you. We'll put the link in the chat, but I also want to give some special bonuses that are only available tonight. All right. This is what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you Dan Pena live at the Ritz. You cannot find this video anywhere because it's so offensive. Okay. And it's so groundbreaking. This was a private event I held at the Ritz Hotel in London for 30 high-level professionals. 2 billionaires were in the room. This event was responsible for a $100 million IPO that happened 2 years later. One of the guys that attended said, "Thank you, Brian." He sent me the napkin he wrote it out on. Dan Pena gave him that idea that day. Now, he complained at the end of the day that Dan Pena was calling 4-letter words. And I said, yeah, okay. It made you $100 million, right? We have this on a recording we'll give to you. I apologize in advance. The Ritz Hotel refused to admit me in the hotel for 2 years after this because of what Dan said, but it was worth it. Now I can get back in. Next bonus we want to give you is we want to give you module 1 of our Kings of DeFi. Our Kings of DeFi is an exclusive program that we reserve for our graduates of the Crypto Accelerator. All right. And this is our first module. We show you how to lock in your profits with what we call our risk to reward ratio. It's how you lock in those profits. And this is something a lot of people don't understand. There's one of 6 modules in our Kings of DeFi. We're going to give you this as a bonus so you can get a little bit of a taste of what we teach afterwards. We also teach chart reading, advanced options trading. You will literally mint your first NFT and sell it on OpenSea in our Kings of DeFi. And we go into influencer, stablecoin, and also how to set up your own fund if you want to do that. And one other bonus, Martini didn't want me to give this to you, but I'm going to give this to you. It's module 1 of our investment club. Now, our investment club is our extremely exclusive group that we only upload up once a quarter that gets access to deals like Orange Common and the one I'm talking to. I got the CEO very soon. I got to go. And this is, we're going to show you how you can directly invest early in crypto presale tokens and presale equity versus we have SAFT and safe agreements. right? These are derivative instrument contracts that you sign that give you access to tokens before they go on the market. How many of you own coins like Ethereum and Solana here and Cardano and some of these others? Yeah, raise your hand. Did you know that you could have bought those things for 1/500th of the price if you had bought them on pre-sale? It's all on the blockchain, baby. But you never got the look. We get the looks. So we teach people how to do this. It's a 1-year program, but everybody stayed who's ever joined. So it's probably a multi-year program. We'll give you module 1 of that as well if you want to join us. And again, just to let you know, we did a trade in our investment club the other day, and this wasn't a big deal, actually. We just pooled a bunch of people. We got access to this token. In one day, we made 500% return. It was like we made $300,000 in one day. It's just the kind of things that we see on a regular basis in there. And the Orange Comet deal as well. So Orange Comet, we got this opportunity. I mean, nobody's doing what they're doing. This is next level Web3. Everyone's going to hear about this company in the next year. You're going to be hearing about it left, right, and center. I just had Dave Broom here on the show yesterday, talking to him. We went 3 hours. He was blown away by what we were doing at London Real Ventures. We'll be promoting their NFT drop in March. Like, this partnership's incredible. Like I said, we gave him $500,000, and everybody in the investment club is super excited. And we got the next Orange Comet coming next, which is going to be amazing. So that's what we're doing. One final bonus we want to get you is how to trade NFTs, which is another piece that we put together as well. We'll give you that bonus as well. So this is all kicking off. You're pre-approved for all of those bonuses if you buy tonight, which shows you were on this call. It's LondonReal.tv/buy. I hope you join us because, like I said, education is crucial. You need to bring yourself up to speed. You need to be hanging out with the right people and understand how we do this here. And once you start seeing where the real money is to be made in crypto and not by punting Bitcoin up and down, that's when you'll really tap into this market. Most people will never even know this is happening behind the scenes. And they'll be out there buying some coins on exchanges after all the juice is gone. By the way, public markets are there when the smart money wants to take profits. Does everyone know that? Right? When you buy a coin on Coinbase, that's when the Peter Thiels of the world are taking their profits. All right. That's why it usually goes down after you buy it. So just want to say my DeFi Academy, it's not for crypto day traders. Please, I don't need you here. Go somewhere else. It's not for get rich quick audiences. Somebody else will sell you that program, not me. It's not for meme coins and trolls and blockchain fanboys and crypto academics. I hate academics. I just want people that want to pull the trigger, take action. You win a few, you lose a few, but you keep on fighting. And that's how we're going to make money over the next 10 years. It's going to be epic. So again, as Bud Fox said before we went into Gordon Gekko's office, life all comes down to a few moments. This is one of them. If you're on this call, probably means something. Pull the trigger and join us. I look forward to seeing you in there. This is going to be the greatest year for crypto. We are so pumped. Like I said, you're pre-approved. And that's it. Hope that was helpful. Was that helpful for you? Did you learn something tonight? I hope you did. Yeah. Martini, anything to add to that? I couldn't be more pumped. I'm a little pumped up after Orange Comet yesterday, if you can't tell. It was great seeing them, and they're so excited to be working with us.
Yeah, that was a fabulous interview. It went pretty long. It was a really good conversation for sure, sure. Just looking at the interview just reminded me of just how blessed so many of us are to have the opportunity to invest in these things and to really plant seeds for a greater future, and this never would have been possible had you not launched the DeFi Academy. What was it, in 2021? I think it was. So yeah, for those of you who are sitting on the fence on this, please know that crypto, DeFi, blockchain, metaverse, all of this stuff is the future, and the future is here and now, right? So let's not be left behind, guys. This is a time to really get in with this innovative movement, I guess, that's going on right now, and start getting yourself acclimated to these things, because we are about to be hitting a pretty good bull market pretty soon, and we want to be prepared for it, guys. So for those of you who have been in the DeFi Academy, you guys already know we are very hands-on. No man or woman is left behind. So if you are new to this space and it's a little bit intimidating, don't worry about that. We are with you every single step of the way, very hands-on. You got Brian, of course, leading the pack. You've got London Real team leaders, and of course, we break you guys off into into teams so that you can build community and learn this stuff together. So I'm going to go ahead and put my link inside of the chat here. So if you guys are wanting to just go ahead and jump in and join us, Brian is no longer taking applications, right? He wants you guys to come in, take action, and get there. So you're able to just go ahead and opt in and get started on some of the content. I'll also leave a link if anybody wants to go ahead and book a call with either me or one of our success coaches on the London Real team. If you have any other lingering questions, we're here to support you and make sure that you get your questions answered before you join us. I'll also go ahead and leave some links as well for you to connect with me on Facebook. So if you don't see a time available, go ahead and send me a private message on Facebook. Send me a private message on Facebook and just let me know what time and where you are in the world and see if we can connect. Email is not always the fastest way to get me. So if you want a quicker response, go ahead and send me a message on Facebook. And guys, take advantage of this opportunity. Get ahead of the curve on this amazing innovation that's going on. And we can't wait to see you on the inside. Back to you, Brian.
Awesome stuff. Give it up for Martini. She's the one that makes everything happen as our director of operations here. She's also the gatekeeper for anybody who wants to come into our Kings of DeFi or investment club program. So if she says no, you're out. If she says yes, you're in. It's like the modern gladiator in there. But look, Martini did say something really important, and we are really blessed here. We've combined a massive global media channel with the blockchain, crypto, metaverse space. And no one's ever seen that before. So it's incredible. It means I can get the top people in crypto on my show, from Michael Saylor to people like Raul Paul, to people like BitBoy Crypto, to people like Justin Son of Tron. I can get all those people in a heartbeat on the show. We make connections with them. They hook us up with their venture funds. I can get people like Jeremy Allaire from Circle on the show. And so we have this information in real time, and then we can broadcast that to you, and then we can hear what's happening behind the scenes. We're also investing in these companies early stage, and we also potentially are access to customers for them as well. And so this is very interesting ecosystem, and we're like super lucky to have that. So it means we get to see a lot of great opportunities, and we have amazing information. And the more we can share that with you, the better. So yeah, I couldn't be more excited about the space. I love everything about blockchain, crypto, AI, and the metaverse. And that's what we're going to be going on hard for like the next few years, probably 10 years. And yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. So I hope you join us. You know all the links there to click in. I would stay longer, but I got to jump because we're speaking with a CEO and a CFO of, I think, what'll be our next investment. So I'm going to jump. You've got the buy link. That's all good for the next couple hours. If you want all of those bonuses, we'll give them to you. We've got your addresses here so we can tell if you were on the call. Just once you buy, just message us right once you buy and just say I was on the call, and we'll get you those bonuses. And that's it, folks. Remember, don't believe what they're telling you out there. Take a deep breath, zoom out a little bit. And remember, we're in an information war. All right. So make intelligent decisions, trade infrequently, use a long horizon, be conservative with your investments, but also believe. If you really believe this, just know it. And have that conviction and hold to that conviction. That's the way you're going to win in the long run. If you're going to be flipping and changing your mind, that doesn't work. You need to have that North Star and hold it. You know, people told me London Real was crazy. People told me nobody wanted to hear this. People told me this was silly what I was doing. I had to listen to that for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But I knew deep down inside what I was doing was important. I was doing important work I was passionate about. That's all that mattered. Then later the world caught up to it and said, oh yeah, by the way, we like this too. But it didn't matter. Same thing is true about this space, folks. If you can feel down in your gut and your heart that this is right, that you're passionate about it, that this is what the world needs, this is what humanity needs, then go into it, all right, and stick with it. And it's going to be a big win. All right. Thank you, folks. Really appreciate you all. I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Looks like Matt just joined us. So great to see you in there as well, Matt. And I look forward to the first live call, I think is 1 week's time. We'll see you on that. It's going to be an amazing ride. All right. Big love to all of you. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye.